April 7th, 2026. The Indiana Fever just launched their primary offensive in the free agency battle. This is how true champions operate. They've extended that core qualifying offer to Kelsey Mitchell. Lexie Hull gets the restricted offer. Both athletes are returning. Honestly, Indiana is exactly where the heart is. Sticking in Indiana with Caitlin Clark is the play. It's better for my career and my new cosmetics brand. I'm staying right here. Sports Illustrated just dropped an article. Grant Young says Indiana is winning free agency. The report continues, now that the 2026 expansion draft is behind us, the focus shifts to free agency. Let's explain what restricted free agency actually entails for Lexie Hull. Other franchises can dangle offers. They might promise more money or better roles, but Indiana maintains the high ground. They match any outside contract Hull signs, and she's back in Fever threads regardless of her personal feelings. Indiana only loses her by choosing not to match. Given her lethal perimeter shooting skills, defensive adaptability, and her cosmetics brand flourishing under Caitlin Clark's massive spotlight, she isn't walking away from this golden opportunity. Every person associated with the Fever has emphasized Mitchell's importance to their collective success. Handing her this core qualifying offer was clearly the most logical path for the organization. It was essentially an inevitability that this specific offer would be put on the table. The far less certain decision Indiana's management faced involved Lexie Hull, whom the franchise selected using the number 6 pick in the 2022 draft. Hull was designated a restricted free agent this spring, meaning the Fever held the absolute right to match any rival team's offer. Should they choose? The front office is playing elite chess while everyone else is stuck playing checkers. That core offer for Kelsey Mitchell is effectively a one-year Supermax deal under current league salary rules. Not a multi-year deal, just one single season at that Supermax rate. That reality reshapes the entire roster construction. Do the math. Caitlin Clark earns $535,000. Aaliyah Boston remains on her initial rookie contract. Your two primary franchise anchors are locked into bargain deals for precisely one more season before Clark inevitably gets that massive Supermax extension. Before you must pay Caitlin Clark that astronomical amount of cash, you secure Kelsey Mitchell for a one-year Supermax run and attempt to win it all right now. Again, Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox, do the right thing. Sign Azura Stevens and let's get moving. As for Hull, this restricted qualifying offer ensures that although she might negotiate with rivals in free agency, Indiana can match any bid, effectively forcing her back. This is prime time. 2026 is the season Indiana must exploit, having top-tier talent playing at such low market prices. Bring Mitchell back for 1 year at the max. She earned it averaging 20 points. Sign Hull reasonably. But you have temporary cap room that evaporates the second Clark signs her new deal next summer. How will Kelly Krauskopf utilize that space? If she's wise, we know the plan. Get into the film room. Stop the side quests. Stop the traveling and the constant media commentary. Stop the play-by-play work and the interviews. Focus. Get your butt back into the film room. Study that late 2024 game film. Observe what was happening during the second half of that season when Caitlin Clark was running the entire show. Mitchell played her part. Clark played hers to perfection. This Indiana Fever offensive unit looked high-octane, thrilling, and dangerous. I desperately want to see Azura Stevens on this team. That move shifts this roster from a playoff hopeful to a genuine threat for the championship. Want to understand why the Fever surged after that Olympic hiatus last year? It wasn't just Caitlin Clark adjusting. It wasn't just Aaliyah Boston building that interior chemistry. The system finally clicked fast-paced ball movement. Clark conducted the orchestra while Mitchell served as the primary scoring weapon. But they still lacked one specific piece, a dynamic post player who hits threes, blocks shots, and defends. Stevens fits that profile. She hit 37% from deep with the Sparks and averaged 1.3 blocks. Having shared the floor with legendary floor generals, she's mastered the silent art of off-ball positioning. Drop Stevens right beside Boston, and Indiana instantly boasts a terrifying interior presence matched only by their explosive backcourt. Message to Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf. Tell Stephanie White to step aside and let greatness happen. You are causing quite the stir right now. Let's dive into these wild fan reactions. Has any word gotten out about Lexi's contract numbers? Rising wages are making cap management a complete nightmare lately. Plus, maintaining a 12-person roster was a feat this Fever squad couldn't have pulled off a year ago. This is raw, unfiltered hoops talk. But looking at Sophie's situation makes me want to break down. Listen, Clay Peterson, you've only got one shot at a core offer each year. No news on Sophie. That core tag defaults to a Supermax deal, though she could sacrifice some cash if management agrees. Think of that qualifying offer as a starting point. The Fever can still hammer out a totally different deal. Let me be blunt with Stephanie White. The offensive masterclass we saw after the Olympics is the only roadmap. Clark orchestrating the screen, Mitchell hunting the perimeter, Boston punishing the paint, and Hull stretching the floor wide. That lethal offensive engine pumped out 108 points per 100 possessions during those final 12 contests. We are talking top-tier scoring. The biggest blunder White could make is trying to fix what isn't broken. Forget over-engineered plays. Don't force this to be Kelsey Mitchell's show just because she has the tenure. Resist the urge to tweak the lineup just to leave a mark. Just study the tape from late 2025. Witness the sheer rhythm of that unit. See how Clark's magnetic presence gift-wrapped open looks for Mitchell and Hull. Observe Boston devouring second-chance points and easy feeds. Now, imagine that same chemistry bolstered by even stronger talent. One would certainly hope. Aren't we looking at a simple one-year arrangement here? It's puzzling why she'd pass up long-term security elsewhere. Just ink the deal, Kelsey. Don't break this brotherhood. To the crew and Kelsey. Who are we chasing in the open market? Please, let's maintain this core. The fan base is absolutely starving for tip-off. People are counting down the seconds for this year to begin. Brilliant strategy. You simply cannot let a 20-point-per-game bucket-getter vanish when a championship is within reach. Seize it. With Caitlin Clark pulling in a mere $535,000, I'd take that small paycheck any day. While Caitlin Clark remains on that bargain $535,000 deal, the window to win is wide open. Drop your takes in the comments, smash that like button, spread the word, and hit that subscribe icon immediately. Your support means the world. Catch you in the next one. Stay smooth and keep it moving. Here is the classic pitfall for fresh coaches, trying to micromanage every single player's personal highlight reel simultaneously. They'll start force-feeding Mitchell isolation plays and demanding Boston settle for static post-up touches. These intricate, multi-layered schemes aimed at involvement are exactly how you waste a talent like Caitlin Clark. Stop designing the game around her. Just hand her the rock and let the madness unfold. Mitchell doesn't need scripted sets. She just needs to be locked and loaded when Clark exploits a screen and fires a cross-court bullet. Hull's fine without more touches. Her job is to camp in the corner, forcing her defender into an agonizing dilemma: stop Clark's drive or concede the three. The blueprint is straightforward. It's effective. For the love of the game, do not overthink this. Let's tackle the massive question haunting every Fever fan's mind right now. What is the real deal with Sophie Cunningham? Indiana is restricted to a single core designation annually, and they've already committed that to Mitchell. Cunningham is hitting the open market. She's free to walk into any locker room she chooses, and Indiana holds zero leverage to keep her. Sure, a reunion is possible, but it hinges on market demand and whether Cunningham values a ring over a massive paycheck. While she's a 31% threat from deep, her real worth lies in that gritty defense and veteran mental toughness. A swarm of suitors will be knocking on her door. Indiana has to do some very cold, hard math here. When you're staring down a tight budget, you pick Stevens over Cunningham without a second thought. Imagine the sheer dominance of Indiana's closing unit when the playoff lights are at their brightest. You've got Clark and Mitchell 40 points of pure offensive wizardry. Then there's Hull, providing that crucial grit, defense, and spacing. Anchoring the paint are Stevens and Boston, a dual-threat wall of rebounding and rim protection that can both stretch the floor. That is a flawlessly balanced squad. They can switch every screen defensively and threaten from behind the arc at all 5 positions. Imagine a lineup overflowing with playmakers who punish every defensive lapse. You finally possess the sheer physical presence to stand toe-to-toe with giants like Las Vegas or New York. Compare this to the roster Indiana fielded last season. For 6 months, they were forced to lean on a rotation featuring Erica Wheeler and Melissa Smith. Their threat from the perimeter was essentially non-existent unless the ball was in the hands of either Clark or Mitchell. Opponents absolutely bullied them on the glass during the most vital moments. Reaching the postseason was a nice story, but they never posed a legitimate danger to the heavyweights. Integrating Stevens into this powerhouse unit featuring Clark, Mitchell, Boston, and Hull transforms them into a squad capable of hoisting the gold. Ultimately, the entire situation boils down to one simple truth. Management figures Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox face a pivotal choice today, not when the bargain bin is empty in midsummer or after the premier talents have vanished. At this very moment, you have a generational icon like Caitlin Clark playing on an entry-level salary for exactly one more season. The financial books are wide open to secure a genuine third superstar. Meanwhile, your coach just needs to stay out of her own way and execute a proven blueprint. You are riding a massive wave of playoff energy while commanding a fan base that is more obsessed than ever before. This is no time for playing it safe. Forget the notion that simply waiting for younger players to improve will bridge the gap. Stop obsessing over every penny and worrying about potential tax penalties that won't even matter for another 2 years. Now is the moment for total aggression. You go out and you sign Azura Stevens. Solidify that starting rotation immediately. Give Stephanie White the tactical weapons required to actually hunt for a championship trophy. Because by next summer, Clark will command a massive Supermax deal. Your financial wiggle room will vanish, and this golden window will slam shut. The period of dominance in this league is far more fleeting than people realize. Franchises that hesitate or tell themselves they can wait until next year often lose forever. Teams that value a clean balance sheet over elite talent are the ones that watch other people lift the trophy. They eventually see their superstars grow bitter while rival organizations reload and leave them in the rearview mirror. Indiana has played their cards perfectly so far. They landed Clark, secured Mitchell, and ensured Hull's return to the fold. A legendary dynasty is within reach if they have the guts to finish the construction. However, blueprints don't win titles, structures do. You need a full deck to win big. As of today, the Fever are precisely one piece away from a flawless roster. The executives are aware. The coaching staff feels it. You can bet the players are whispering about it in the locker room. Caitlin Clark didn't join this franchise just to participate in an opening round exit. Kelsey Mitchell didn't sign a 12-month extension just to run back a flawed experiment. Aaliyah Boston didn't evolve into a dominant interior force just to sit on the sidelines while other cities host parades. For the leaders, Krauskopf and Cox, the crossroads is remarkably clear. Are you crafting a team designed to participate or one designed to dominate? Just being competitive is the easy path. That's when you just keep the core together, sprinkle in some bench warmers, and pray that another year of growth miraculously solves everything. You might rack up 45 victories and snag a decent seed. You might even win a series if luck strikes. But true glory requires a killer instinct. Winning demands the realization that you have a once-in-a-century talent in Caitlin Clark and a rapidly closing window on her rookie deal. It means pulling the trigger on a move that would make every other front office in the league tremble with fear. That move is Azura Stevens. She is on the market. She slides in perfectly. She is the catalyst that turns good into historic. If Indiana refuses to pull the trigger, a rival will. The Aces will move mountains to find the necessary funds. New York will find a way to make the numbers work, or Dallas will sell her on being the final ingredient for their own ring. And Indiana will be left staring at the ceiling next season, mourning a ghost of what might have been while Stevens shines elsewhere. They will drop vital series because they lack the size and raw strength to battle the league's elite frontcourts. They will squander a precious year of Clark's athletic peak because they were too timid when they should have been fearless. Don't let history repeat itself. Execute the plan. Secure Stevens. Capture that championship while the stars are still aligned. Because 2 years from now, when Clark is making over $1 million per season and your budget is stretched thin, you'll hate yourself for being cautious today. You will look back at this crossroad and understand that this was the shot. This was the moment you could have built an unstoppable juggernaut. So, which path will it be? Indiana, are you pushing all your chips into the center, or are you hoping that safe is enough to win? Retaining Mitchell and Hull was the obvious play. Even a novice could have predicted those moves. But this next step is the real test. It reveals if this organization is hungry for titles or just happy to be invited to the party. My choice is obvious, and I suspect yours is too. The question is whether the front office has the stones to do what's necessary. Give me your take in the section below. Does Stevens truly make them the favorite? What other additions should Indiana pursue? Do you have faith in Stephanie White to orchestrate this offense? Or do you fear she might clutter up a system that was already humming? Release your thunder. Join our ranks to witness earth-shattering drama from the elite WNBA. Until the shadows dance across our next encounter.